Welcome back to your weekly roundup of everything that happened in Zenless Zone 0, where we will cover everything that you missed inside and outside of the game. First things first though, with a new version there is also a new redemption code that you can use for some polychrome and some dennies, and that is ZZZ23 Sweet Illy, or like I guess Sweet I Love You maybe? Of course in all caps. But those are not the only freebies available though. If you haven't already checked your inbox yet, there is also a gift of 600 polychrome from Yishen and the Yunhui Summit. Otherwise though, with the new patch, we have got a handful of new events already underway, such as the Timesworn Hills Explorers Guide, where you can earn rewards for completing various tasks in the new Hollow area, as well as the When Dreams Remain Unfinished event, which can get you one extra copy of Monato. Now as a reminder by the way, if you are waiting to pull for some more Monatos, using say your standard pulls, he will only be added to the standard pool during patch 2.4. So that means that Monato will not be available in the summon pool during the second half of this patch, so it's either now or later on only. Don't expect to get any more pulls of Monato during your Yidhari pulls. Otherwise, there is also the new Threshold Simulation game mode that you can tackle without worry about any time limits, as this is going to be a permanent mode similar to the Battle Tower. Also, over at Hollow Zero, there are some updates over there too, with the investigation level cap being increased from 180 to 200. And alongside those extra levels, there will also be some more rewards too. And then there are also the Task Force Assault Challenge missions for Lucia, where you get a chance to try her out, as well as her new Tactical Prism upgrades. Completing these missions will of course reward you with some polychrome. But coming up though in this week, we have the return of one of the best events in the game, and that is the Snap Shining Strike event, which will let you take pictures mid-combat in the hollows. But this time around, it's even better than last time, thanks to being able to actually move the camera around and apply different frames. So expect to see plenty of either A, really cool screenshots, or B, really goon screenshots of people trying to get upskirts and butt shots and whatnot. But either way though, this photo event will start on the 22nd of October and will run until the 10th of November. Plenty of time for you to stock up on some photos in your gallery. Otherwise, on Friday, we will also have our first Shiyu defense reset of the patch. The buff this time around will increase the max HP of all your agents by 15%, as well as increasing the ether and electric damage of all units by 20%. And furthermore, when a support agent uses an EX special attack, the whole squad's sheer damage as well as their attack will both increase by 20% each. Also, something that is a bit of a side note, but it's still somewhat relevant, is that with the new patch, there were some bug fixes. One of those is actually a very sad fix, unfortunately, and that is that they fixed an issue where agent models would behave abnormally under certain circumstances, which is a rather vague description, but the reality is that the magic window at the beach, or at the HIA facility, the wall there, no longer remove pieces of clothing when looking at certain angles. Truly a disaster for the community. But with the in-game news out of the way though, you know what time it is. If you would like to top up on some polychromes yourselves, why not try using LD Shop? Especially considering you can get top-up options cheaper through LD Shop than you would in-game, with discounts of up to nearly 22% for new users. For example, purchasing an internet membership through LD Shop costs only $3.87 compared to the $5 if you were to purchase it in-game. And topping up is really easy. All you need is your in-game user ID and your server. Once you fill those in, you can click on top up, choose your payment method, and within seconds your order is completed and you can see the rewards in game. And yes, you can even get the double bonus for first time top ups. LD Shop is a trusted and authorized service that is 100% safe and legitimate. Also, if you use my link in the description when you register on LD Shop, you will also get a 5% off coupon to use. And if you spend over $80, you will also gain a VIP membership, which can earn you free internet memberships and regular coupons. Once again, you can check out the description and the pinned comment to start saving with LD Shop. Moving on to the social media side of things though, with a new patch, that also means the Twitch drops have been reset. So by watching any Zenless Zone 0 stream for 2 hours while logged into an account linked to your in-game profile, you can earn some in-game rewards, including some polychrome and upgrade materials. We have also got some new freebies in the form of cute little avatars featuring the new Spook Shack members, Lucia, Yidhari, and Monato. These are all free to download using the link in the description below. There are also a few events related to Lucia over on Twitter. The first is for Lucia's EP, Dummy Dummy. By following the official account and retweeting the linked post in the description, you could win a fluffy Bamboo plush charm. Although this event is ending soon, so you will need to act fast. Otherwise, there is another event that you can participate in, and that is Lucia's Midnight Invitation. Once again, by following the official account and then choosing one of the 4 options on the linked tweet in the description, you can win a Bamboo rug or a finger skateboard keyring. But lastly though, moving on to the speculation zone. Although patch 2.3 has only just released, that also means that the beta versions of patch 2.4 have already made their way out onto the field. And so people have started to do some digging and have found some interesting things. The 2 most important things of note is that it seems as though there will not be a new pair of disc sets in patch 2.4, which is going to be a bit out of the norm. So far we always receive discs every even patch. So basically you could potentially start farming up some disc sets for Dialin and Bunyue already, since theoretically they will not be getting anything new for themselves. This does unfortunately mean that the 2 of them might get a bit shafted because of this, since they won't have a disc set tailor-made for them. For example, like how Branch and Blade is tailor-made for Miyabi. But that's not to say that they will have bad options, right? But speaking of Miyabi and her disc set, I think that might be the exact reason why we could not be getting a disc set next patch. If Zhao and Ye Xingwang are going to be in patch 2.5, and with it feeling like there is a lot of hype around Ye Xingwang being on the levels of a Void Hunter or something like that, it would make sense that in order to shill her the most, they would need to have a specific disc set that would amplify her kit specifically even more. Also, Ye Xingwang lining up with patch 2.5 also means that the shilling will likely be very big, since just like patch 1.5, that patch will likely overlap with Chinese New Year. And what better way to promote that than by having the super powerful character that just also happens to be having some ties with the Chinese-inspired Yunhui Summit faction, be releasing with her own special kit and special disc set and whatnot. Now again though, this is just based off of a beta version of patch 2.4, so it is technically possible that maybe they could be added later on, but that would be pretty weird, right? Why would you release a beta version featuring new characters but not also give them the equipment needed to properly test them to their full capacity? But speaking of full capacity though, in the current version of the game, Soldier Ambi just had her kit update, and I will say that she definitely feels a lot better now with her grouping and being able to chain back her enhanced skills attacks. And the touch of other aftershocks building up her Mark II was also very nice. It's not as extreme as I thought, but that's actually maybe a good thing. Even with a full aftershock team of Trigger and Orphe, it only really gets you some extra marks here and there every now and then. But that's better than it being absolutely ridiculous to a point where Sanbi herself is no longer the one building up most of the mark. But all of that is just to say that clearly kit upgrades are a very nice step in a good direction from the developers, which is great because also in the 2.4 beta there is supposedly some evidence that could suggest that Soldier 11 will also be receiving a similar type of unlock potential as Soldier Ambi and Ellen. It would be very interesting to see how they can update her kit though, because honestly, out of all the agents in the game, I would argue that Soldier 11 is probably the simplest. So there is definitely a lot of room for creativity. But again though, it is purely based off of speculation and nothing is set in stone just yet. For now, we should just enjoy what we have in patch 2.3 with all of the new events and content, and be pleasantly surprised by whatever patch 2.4 has in store for us. Otherwise though, thank you all for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, liking, commenting and subscribing is greatly appreciated. Until next time, bye bye!